Tree, Arkansas. This is Poinsett County, Delta. Tree is a Delta community with a history that inverts the Ozark model. Rather than expelling black residents, it was built on trapping them. So, once again, all y'all who out there who have this idea that a sundown town is there's no black people there, get that out of your mind. They they're giving you not only examples, they're giving you different models of sundown towns from you know what I mean? They're giving you the high level on this shit. We done went through about 6 or 7 different types of models of sundown towns that are being implemented here. So Mark Tree and Poinsett County sit in the heart of Arkansas's Delta sharecropping economy, where black residents were not expelled but instead held in debt bondage and labor captivity through the convict leasing system. If you want to know more about that, check out my other video specifically on convict leasing systems in the Paper Trails playlist. But anyway, they had them in messed up sharecropping contracts, and then you add to that physical violence against those who attempted to leave. So this is definitely a fuck situation. We've heard about them inflicting violence on black people to make them leave a sundown town. In this rare instance, they are inflicting violence on those who tried to leave. Like, no, you gonna be here as slaves, basically low key and high key. Even though it's well past the motherfucking 1800s, it's the 1900s already. Now you have the next thing here documented, the Elaine Massacre of 1919, one of the deadliest racial violent events in American history. This occurred approximately 80 miles south in Phillips County, but it sent shockwaves through the entire Delta corridor, including Poinsett County, as a warning to black residents and labor organizers throughout the region. Mark Tree's racial control was enforced through plantation owner networks. There's that word again, networks. See, white people be talking, well, it's just, it ain't an individual thing. If people just don't have hate on their heart, all that weak shit they try to hit you with. These are white supremacist networks, county sheriff systems. Check out my other video where I make the connection about nationwide law enforcement being infiltrated by white nationalists, aka Klan. This was investigated by George W. Bush as well as Obama. A Democrat and a Republican both looked into this because they felt it was a serious issue. But none of y'all probably even knew that they had investigations on some shit like that. All right, anyway, so Mark Trees, they had these networks, and it was pretty much bad business. These networks was which allowed these white supremacists to assert and maintain economic control of that region. The modern town has experienced severe depopulation as Delta agricultural mechanization eliminated the labor demand that previously justified maintaining a black population. So now that they got tractors and machines and shit like that, they didn't need to hold them niggas hostage, aka slave anymore, which is why now the town's demographics are probably more white leaning, but we're gonna see as we get through this. So the town current demographics reflect decades of out migration driven by both push in the form of racial terror, economic exclusion and pull northern industrial cities factoring in. Mark Tree's Sundown character is thus not about keeping black people out, but about a post labor colony residue, a community that retained the racial hierarchy after the economic system that created it had collapsed. So this is classified as a tier 2 functional sundown town. Not an expulsion town, but a labor colony whose racial control architecture persists beyond its original economic function. Boy, we digging deep tonight.